Hi, everyone. My name's Sam. I'm a product manager at the Wikimedia Foundation, and I'm currently working on the Moderator Tools project. So this is a new team in product, and we're currently doing a bunch of research to understand what content moderators need in terms of Wikipedia's tools and processes and features. And this is kind of an opportunity for you to hear a bit about what we're doing and give us some feedback. So if I could have my slides. Awesome. So that's me. So Moderator Tools. This is a new team. We really just started about 6 months ago. And so at the moment, it's just myself as the product manager and Claudia as design researcher. This is one of the 4 pilot projects you might have heard about, along with newcomer experience and campaigns. And we're currently sort of in the very early research process. So we're working across the Wikimedia Foundation with other teams and departments to really get to the bottom of what are the needs in terms of content moderation tools. And my slides say the session has ended, which I'm not sure is correct. Hi, I hope I'm back. So that's this is what the Moderator Tools team looks like at the moment, but we're hoping to sort of expand this in the future once we have a better idea of what it is that we need to work on. So at the moment, this is sort of our goal. We want to understand the biggest challenges facing content moderators on Wikimedia projects. We hope that getting to the bottom of what those biggest challenges are will really help us prioritize what products we should work on. Now, I'm focusing here on content moderators rather than moderators generally, also not focusing on admins specifically. And this is sort of what we mean by content moderation. And this is our vague attempt to define it. So processes which affect or regulate the content on a Wikimedia project, but aren't themselves direct additions to content or actions taken against specific users. So we're interested in kinds of contributions that patrol new edits, adjust the edits made by maybe new users or that don't quite fit the rules and guidelines, but not new additions to content, not new research, and also not user moderation features, so not things like blocking or sock puppet investigations, check user, that sort of thing. Those are really handled by other teams of the foundation. So we're interested in content moderation as a focus. So these are some examples of the kinds of processes we're thinking about. So that might be reviewing the recent changes feed to look at new edits, marking pages as patrolled or those edits as patrolled, patrolling new pages, undoing edits, deleting pages, protecting pages, adding maintenance templates, those sorts of processes which really are about the content more than the user themselves. So you might have seen that the title of this talk mentioned medium-sized projects. And so I just wanted to kind of dig into a little bit of what we mean by that, because we don't have a great definition at the moment, but I'll sort of explain our thinking. So we think that probably where the biggest need for moderation tool work is these sort of projects that are growing or emerging, that have typically not received direct focus from foundation product teams in terms of moderation in the past, where there's a big influx of new editors, new content, not the rules and processes are still developing. And the active editors are feeling a bit overwhelmed, right? There's a lot of new content happening, lots of new edits. They don't have all the tools and processes they need to sort of handle that influx. That doesn't mean we're going to forget about the sort of edges here. We think that the largest wikis probably have a lot of content moderation tools and processes already. I'm an English Wikipedia administrator in my volunteer capacity, so I know they're not perfect. I know there's lots of work that needs to be done there. On the other end, we're not going to focus on the smallest projects where there's still a lot of global support happening. Maybe those projects don't have any local admins, and so they get a lot of small wiki monitoring team support or global sysops support, stewards. We think that's a very different problem space, and it's not sort of where we're going to focus here. So we're going to focus our research on that sort of middle growing region. We're still sort of defining what we mean by that. But hopefully, once it comes to defining the sort of ideas and projects that we want to work on, I'm sure the tools will be useful across that whole spectrum. We're not ignoring those edges. It's just about where we're going to focus our user research. So this is kind of what our roadmap looks like as a team. For the first 6 months, just starting in this July just passed, we're going to sort of better define what that medium-sized project region means. Then go and do a bunch of user research interviews and surveys. This absolutely forms part of that, but we want to do some really dedicated research on some specific projects. And then we're going to write a report, generate some sort of hypotheses for what products we might want to build and why, and then sort of get working on those in the new calendar year. So from January, we hope to start, really working on some engineering work. Obviously, we're not going to build entire new systems in those 6 months. That's going to be a lot of prototyping and experimenting and design work, really sort of narrowing down what it is we might want to work on. But certainly, if things are looking good there and we've got some good ideas, then hopefully that will then continue. So that's kind of the overview of the project so far. Like I say, we're only about 6 weeks in, so that's sort of all we've got at the moment. But what we would really love now is to hear from everyone who's here. So I have sort of 4 questions here that are top of mind for me, but if there's anything on your mind in terms of these content moderation processes, how you deal with edits from new contributors who maybe breaking the rules or not meeting those policies and guidelines, I'd love to hear them. But these are the 4 questions that are sort of top of mind for me at the moment. The first is, what tools and processes are missing on your Wikimedia project? Maybe you don't yet have an articles for deletion discussion sort of process. Maybe you don't have a tool to review new edits effectively. We'd love to hear, whatever is missing on your project. I'd love to hear about it and what sort of need there is for that. Second, what are the most common content moderation tasks which you find time consuming? So I know that there are tasks that happen sort of infrequently that can take a while, but what are you trying to do regularly in terms of content moderation that you find just takes too long? You wish you could do it quicker, easier. That seems to you like there should be a simpler way to do things. I'd love to hear about that. Third, do you have experience setting up the moderation processes on your wiki? So maybe you've imported a gadget or a template or some user scripts. Maybe you've set up a new process for this sort of content moderation. I'd love to hear what that experience is like. I know that it's not just about doing the work that can be time consuming, but also setting those processes up in the first place. Templates are awful. Importing scripts is awful. I'd love to hear what experiences you have of that. And then lastly, I'd love to just hear, could you imagine yourself working on content moderation on mobile versus desktop? I certainly know from my experience, I can't imagine doing English Wikipedia content moderation on mobile. And so, would you like to, though? Is that something that's sort of top of mind for you that actually it'd be quite nice if you could sit on your phone and do some content moderation? I'd love to hear about that. There are 2 main ways to give me this feedback right now. The first is right after this talk, we have an unconference discussion that's in Building 6, Floor 3, Table A. That's one of the big ones. I'll be there right after this, and we can have a chat about anything that's top of mind for you about those questions. And then second, if you're watching this later or you just want to give that feedback asynchronously, there is a mediawiki.org page. It's Moderator Tools /Wikimania. And you can head over there. You'll find those questions that I've just listed. So that's all that I have. I think I may have like 2 minutes for questions. So if there is anything obvious I can jump on, then I can answer that now. And otherwise, I'll see you over at the unconference. I'm not seeing anything in the Etherpad right now, and I only have about a minute, so I'm going to head to the unconference, and I hope to see you there.